Blinking red.
Yep. Sweet. All right. So, Matinee Prices. You know who we are, but do you know where we are? We are back in Charlotte. Actually, I guess we were kind of mentioning that we were coming here.
Yeah.
So all right. So you do know where we are. If you guessed Charlotte,
yeah,
you were correct because we told you. And we are at Visart, the last remaining Visart that we talk so much about because we used to live there and we were kicked out and we're super depressed about it still after almost a decade later. You can feel sorry for us with money, just throw money at us. But we're here in Charlotte at Visart, and we've got some of the super lucky people who work here at this one. And we're gonna do our usual shtick. Cameron, you want to take it away, like introduce our guests? And
well, this is Fudgie, and this is Matt, and they work here at the Charlotte Visart, as Huru stated, and they're a couple of lucky people because they get to come to work every day.
We're jealous.
They get to come to work every day and talk about movies and be around people who are passionate about movies, which is how Huru and I and Rollie, it's how we all know each other.
Rollie's here too.
Is because we worked at Visart together and we bonded over, movies is what people do.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said movies.
Who work with
instead of like books or
human sacrifice.
Tiddlywinks or something. Yeah, it's like
we bonded the time we ran over that hobo and buried him in the shallow grave behind the A&B.
Who hasn't bonded over wearing a hobo?
That is true. That is true. No disrespect to hobos.
Never even made the papers. So he was obviously.
So I guess we'll start real quick. What is your sort of like? This is my wheelhouse. Yeah. Like you love and like. What are you looking for? Say this. Say this. Say this.
Anime and martial arts.
Okay, right on.
Yeah. Every kung fu flick and anime. Yeah. I mean, half the anime section out there is actually donated from my personal collection.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely my niche. Like classic sci-fi, like love Mystery Science Theater 3000. I don't think you can even work in a Visart without liking Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's part of the criteria.
That should have been on the application. If someone was like, "I'm not a fan," you would just throw their application in the trash.
It's just like, then you're not working here.
You're never working here. I was lucky enough to meet TV's Frank not too long ago, and he signed like every one of the mini posters that came with the box.
I saw, I saw that. It's amazing.
He was so cool about it.
It'd have to be because he signed like 30 different things. So that's a patient man.
No, when I first walked up, he was originally charging $20 a signature, and I walked up with a stack, and he was like, "Damn," and I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "But you're a huge fan," and I told him about Visart, and I told him what the deal was, and he's like, "Oh, really? Yeah. $20, I'll sign them all."
Yeah.
And just signed them all. Like, I mean, like, he was so cool about it. And, like, love the fact that we still had a video store.
Right on.
Man, I don't have one right now.
TV's Frank, man.
TV's Frank.
Yep.
What was your area of expertise? I can't say the word expertise.
Yeah. What movies you be liking?
There it is.
That's what he meant to say.
It's hard to say if I have a particular niche, but I really love older films. I love very artistic films, surrealist films.
Okay.
You are a noir person.
Yes, I do love noir, and I love horror, and I love
musicals, or like we're talking art house.
I mean, I know about certain musicals. I mean, I grew up. My mother loved musicals, so I grew up watching Fiddler on the Roof and.
Miss, you have to see Les Mis.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen
the
Les
10th
Mis.
anniversary Dreamcast. Thank you very much.
Specific.
Yes. I guess. Oh gosh. I mean, rare stuff that most people have never heard of.
Right.
Cult classic noir, I'd say. Yeah, cult classic noir. Yeah.
Cameron was the guy. That's. When I came to work at Visart, everybody has sort of the movie person in their group, so I was that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I came to Visart, I'm like, yeah, of course I can work here. I'm the movie guy. I was the movie guy in our group. And then I got there and I was like, man, I know jazz. Yeah. Like I was like, okay, this shelf here, boom, 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 all the movies I've seen, and then I left like the rest of the store. I'd heard of other things.
Yeah.
The Criterion was really like the one that like opened my eyes up. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is where I need to be. I got some work to do.
Yeah.
But Cameron was the one who was sort of like a catch-all. There was always a person who was like, we know specific. I would go in the back. I'm like, all right, I'm going over drama with a customer. Da 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 da. Wait. Hey, Cameron. Yeah. What was so and so in? This one? No, the other one. Oh yeah, that. I'm like, okay, yeah. So this one, and so it was cool to have that. And then Rollie came and was just as big, same thing, and he wouldn't even discuss it. This, and people were like, okay, like stuff that they had not heard of. It was almost like, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
Because we had it covered, and it was a lot of fun. I'm assuming you guys also had fun here.
Oh yeah.
I'll try.
I'm great at that. Like when someone's like, "There's like a thing. It's a toy in a box." I'm like, "Oh, it's this." Like the other day, Brianna was just like, "Oh, there's like this movie. It's maybe a kid with an alien and maybe time travel. I don't know. The ship looks like a Velveeta shell." And I was like, "Oh, Flight of the Navigator."
Right.
I was like, "Yeah, no, that's totally Flight of the Navigator." She's like, "What?" She's like, "It's a movie I've been trying to figure out my entire childhood. I'm Flight of the Navigator."
It's
totally that. Yeah. I'm great at those stupid, like the smallest stupid thing. I'm just like, "Oh,
I used to love that because it's like you're a contestant on a game show. Like there's no prize. Like you just feel like a little jolt when you just said like you can make somebody's day. They're like, "Thank you. I've been trying to think of that movie forever."
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, it's what I do. That's what we're saying. Nothing of it.
Right. So do we want to do name that tune?
Yeah. So you start because you got more than I did.
Okay.
So yeah.
So basically, what we did last year and what we're doing this year as well is we got their employee picks, and we're gonna have you like sell your employee pick to the customer or whomever who's watching, basically our moms. And you got 30 seconds.
Or however. Just like.
Well, you want to make it 30 seconds
Yeah.
because you don't want to bore them. And
just sell it.
But like, I'll
Hit
just
the
go to
button
Netflix
once, just
and
say,
go
like,
freaking punch them.
Why it's cool. Yeah.
Right.
Just say why this movie's worth checking out.
This one is Maximum Overdrive.
Shot in North Carolina. At the very beginning, an ATM machine tells Stephen King to f off. And like there's a giant truck with a Green Goblin head on it chasing people down. Like it's fantastic.
Original music by.
ACDC. It's like right on the back of the box, and I couldn't even take it. I was looking at it, but yeah.
So it's a romantic comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Emilio Estevez just pulls at the heartstrings.
It's not a romantic comedy. Just say.
And you get Yardley Smith, Lisa Simpson.
Oh, yeah. She totally. Yeah.
Because there's that
little
thing. Curtis, are you dead? That gets me every time. It's like, well, if he is, do you expect him to answer? Just clearly, Curtis is alive.
One of the funniest horror movies.
It really is.
Stupidest kills, best things ever.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, you're up.
All right. This is a little more obvious. I grabbed this one because I have both of your stickers on it. Kubo and the Two Strings from
Near
Leica Studios.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful animation, gorgeous. Leica does such a good job. Great story. Actually, a really good Matthew McConaughey character, which I mean.
Stop motion.
Animation.
I mean, one of the only few companies that does stop motion anymore. I mean, they did.
Same people who did Coraline,
Paranormal,
Trolls. I mean, it just the time and effort, like it's just that's put into these films, like comes out and how magnificent they are.
Because you could do it. Because you could do Kubo with CGI, and it would have taken 2 months to make.
Yeah.
But it's that thing. It's like, no, we're going to do this. It's going to take us 3 years to make it, but that's the way we do things.
Yeah,
I just love that.
Yeah, you watch Box Trolls, and at the end of Box Trolls, you have the guys come, like the two characters.
We were just talking about that.
I was gonna say,
and they're like, what if we're just little puppets being moved around by people, and and it's not even a 2-minute conversation, but you're watching the fast motion of these guys do it, and he changes clothes like 4 or 5 times, so it's like 4 or 5 days for a less than 2-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Like the dedication that goes into making that shit.
It's amazing. Like if you like Nick Park that does all the Wallace and Gromit's.
Yeah.
You know, if you appreciate that, because that one's a little bit clearer because you can clearly tell it's clay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and this one's like sort of combination of like different mediums and puppets and like and pieces.
Yeah.
But they seem to do at the end. They did it, I think, at the end of Kubo
Yeah,
as well.
With the giant skeleton.
The giant skeleton.
Yes. Yeah, that was
so good.
It's one of those movies where you just like, goodness knows, I'm wasting my life. You know, like these people got together and did this.
Yeah.
I need to go do something. Yeah. That's awesome pick.
Kubo with the 2 strings. Check it
Oh, I love this. I'm glad you picked this because I've been discussing this with a few other people.
I love that movie
This
so
is
much.
pre Deadpool. It's called The Voices.
Mm.
This is Ryan Reynolds, but just before Deadpool.
Just before Deadpool.
And probably Practice.
Dude, yeah, really. I mean, this is like goofy to really dark, really quick. I mean, at first you're like, oh, this is fun, this is really, and then you're like, oh, whoa. Well, okay then.
If you never thought of Ryan Reynolds as being like, he's like, oh, he's a funny guy, but I don't think much of him as an actor, this is the movie that will change your opinion.
Yeah. No, he does a phenomenal job, and he does all the voices,
He's
like
the voices of the dog and the cat,
and
yeah.
everything. I mean, and it's a great story. I mean, it's really, really well done. Like,
Yeah, it's just a movie.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I just picked it up when I saw it and I was like, oh, Ryan Reynolds, he's gonna be, this is, you know, probably training, and really wasn't expecting a lot out of it. And I was mistaken.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So-
story of a man just slowly mentally unraveling.
Yeah.
And
Who's also dating.
Yeah. Crying.
Yeah.
and he had his cat and dog are his kind of devil and angel on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And,
Cat's the devil, dog's the angel.
yeah,
It's
and
perfect.
Ryan Reynolds voices both animals, and it's such a good movie.
Oh.
And you're right, like it throws you for a loop because for about 20 or 30 minutes you know what kind of movie you're watching,
And then you don't.
that thing happens and you're like, whoa, this
like-
just became Taxi Driver.
What just happened?
Yeah. Totally.
All right, what you
Highly
got?
recommend it. Oh, and what's her name from Pitch Perfect? Anna Kendrick.
Anna
like
Kendrick.
America's Sweetheart
Yep.
is in it. Like,
Yeah.
like kind of a bold choice for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is another one of my favorite films. And
Love
like,
this movie.
Classic.
A lot of people haven't seen this one actually, and that surprises me.
What movie is it?
Better
Better
Off
Off
Dead.
Uh,
Early John Cusack.
Yeah.
and the great Curtis Armstrong.
Very wacky humor. It's a classic. It's 80s.
It's kind of like an anti-John Hughes movie. Like, not that John Hughes is bad, but like
Right.
his were very straightforward and heartfelt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Steve Holland just made these wacky, off-the-wall live-action cartoons, basically. 'Cause he
Yeah.
did One Crazy Summer also.
Yeah.
And it's kind of throwing the teen comedy, kind of turn it on its head.
It's like what made the 80s the 80s. I
Yeah.
think. Like that whole genre of comedy, you're just like, oh yeah, that ridiculousness.
Yeah, and cocaine.
But it's got
Yeah, that
but
cocaine.
it's got like all the beats of an
Lots and
80s
lots of-
movie where like the asshole jock has stolen his girlfriend and he has to race him in snow skiing.
Every cliche possible.
It's so cliche,
Yeah.
but the movie is so like different.
Yeah.
And
So dark.
it's one of my favorite, and still one of my favorite lines of any movie is Curtis Armstrong, Booger from Revenge of the Nerds, where he's like, Lane, I've been going to this school for 7.5 years. I'm no dummy.
It's funny. It's a family tradition to watch this every New Year's Eve at my house.
It's one of my Christmas movies.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because part of it takes place at Christmas.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's so good.
All right. Now this is a great pick because most of these other ones I have seen, so he's selling them to you. I have not seen or heard of this, so he's gonna sell me on this one. This is called Welcome to the Spaceship. All right.
Okay.
Yes, I'm curious about this too. I've never heard of that.
So
but that
we've
artwork-
never heard of it. All right.
Art
So
just
A magical adventure with talking dogs and dragon trains that take you across the universe because Earth is locked up because some aliens stole some kimchi.
I'm sold. Now, granted, I'm an anime fan. So.
Dude, that tired old plot.
Yeah, that tired old plot.
You just described like every Kevin Costner film.
this movie is just great. I mean, G Kids is the company that puts it out. G Kids is now the company that also puts out all the Ghibli films and like everything. So like, if you want to just find a damn good animated film, I mean, every country in the world they represent.
Okay.
So G Kids is awesome to begin with.
Okay.
But welcome to the space show. You got this. You got a group of children who come across a dog who they think is injured, but when he wakes up, he starts talking.
Oh.
And as I said wrong, not kimchi, but horseradish, but not horseradish. Green stuff with sushi. Wasabi. Okay, so wasabi is like one of the galaxy's like greatest, like whatever commodity that no one can find anymore.
Oh, okay.
So to thank these children from helping him out, this dog takes him on a trip to the moon, and unbeknownst to any of us, one of the largest space hubs in the galaxy is on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous. They all get locked out of Earth for some reason because the wasabi was stolen, and now they have to hop on this like galactic train that's gonna bring them around and about to the other side for some reason. But they're inside of a dragon that's a train, and there's all different kinds of different species and planets, and it's just all around really, really fun. It's like Studio Ghibli meets Expressway, was it 9,000 or
99,999
something like that, yeah. But, and it's phenomenal. It's great.
Nice.
Family friendly, everybody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And is it an American film or Japanese film?
Japanese. Oh yeah, definitely
Okay.
Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That sounded like that's one of the clarify.
Yeah.
But the artwork on the box was amazing. Like, and which is one of the things I miss about a video store is like, because you don't get that with Netflix or something, where you're just wandering around and like
Teeny
the
tiny
art
thumbnail.
will make you see like, oh,
Yeah.
I want this, and you know, and you read them, and you're like, oh, this sounds great, and then you get a new favorite movie that you would have never heard of otherwise.
Yeah, I think absolutely. There's someone that I forget who it was, but there's a guy who put together an amazing book that's it's just all VHS covers. It's a giant hardcover book that is just nothing but VHS covers from like the 80s and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they were works of art. Just
Yeah.
like old movie posters, you know,
Yeah.
or album covers.
Yeah, and old sci-fi books and all the old crazy crap they used to come up with. Absolutely, yeah.
All right, what you got?
I've got a movie from 1977 on the Criterion Collection called House.
It's
What's up with that one?
a
It's a-
masterpiece. It's a movie about the destruction of these young girls. They are literally eaten alive by a house.
It is definitely a whole entire store for everybody.
It was-
loves this movie.
So Obayashi was asked by a studio to make a movie that was like Jaws, and this was his response.
That's
house that eats
kind of
people.
awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
that's
actually.
awesome.
That is awesome.
Like, is that like a response or like an F you? Oh, you want something like Jaws? Here we go.
But it was more than just that. I mean, if you look into why, like, there's some. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. I mean,
The movie is a lot of fun. Like
Yeah.
it is definitely a movie of its time period.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you look at the special effects and the kind of these cliches. At like one moment, you're like, it really feels like a 70s horror movie mixed with like an episode of Benny Hill.
Yeah.
Like it gets really silly, but it gets really
Awesome.
serious. And, yeah, and it has like an actual deep meaning to it. But it's a movie of its time. But it's really really awesome. It's
No.
very well done.
Now,
it's
would,
like Scooby Doo almost.
Yeah.
now, would you
yeah.
say, like, is it for kids, like Monster House?
Like, what's it rated? Or is it not rated?
I don't think it's rated,
Yeah, it's rated.
but it's. I mean,
I don't think kids would really get
it's
it.
got blood. It's got.
And it's
It's got like
and
red
it's-
paint
It's
blood.
got boobs.
Okay, so
Oh, it does have
not PG.
Yep.
Oh, yes, the boobs. Oh, yeah, the boobs. Oh, that's,
I love it when like parents come in and are like, "Oh man, let's show my kids weird science," and then they come back and they're like, "I shouldn't have shown my kids." Damn, I totally forgot all about that movie.
it was like,
Yeah.
how old are your kids? Oh, they're 5 and 6. Like, you probably shouldn't.
No.
You should wait a little while longer for doing that. Word.
Yeah, it's like you get to the end of the movie and your kid's like, so smoking marijuana just makes you funny and like Okay. Thanks for showing me this movie, Mom.
Wait.
It's like, well, yeah, it does, but you're not supposed to find that out for another 5 years.
Throw something Pixar on, quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad you also picked this one because Rollie even has a copy of this and loaned it to me. So this is Ralph Bakshi's Coonskin.
Also known as Street Fight because, I mean, damn.
It's Coonskin? Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ralph Bakshi is probably, I mean, I grew up in New York. I'm from Woodside, Queens, and Ralph Bakshi just has it right. I mean, growing up in the time that he did, he tells the most phenomenal stories of New York of its times. Like, you're talking Fritz the Cat, Hey Good Looking, Coonskin, Heavy Traffic, Cool World, but like these ones
But that one was taken away from me.
That was
that's not a Ralph Bakshi film. Though.
Yeah, I mean, as much as as he has hands in it, it's really not. But like these stories, like Coonskin and Hey Good Looking and Fritz the Cat and Heavy Traffic, like they weave a tale and really tell you like what New York was like, and New York was pretty fucked up back in the day. Racist as hell, ridiculous as all anything, but this man, you know, he pokes fun at everybody. He definitely knew what it was like to just like, you know, really live around the craziness. He himself, I don't know what else to say. Like, Ralph Bakshi, any movie by him, you should definitely see. And Coonskin is even really relevant today because of a lot of the political topics and you know how America's really bending us over in a lot of ways and not making it easy for the small guys.
Yeah, it's one of those multi-layered, sort of thought-provoking, eye-opening type things that Matt definitely recommends as his pick, and so do we. Yeah.
Coonskin, check it out. And if that stuff isn't your bag, Ralph Bakshi also did the animated version of Lord of the Rings, which is incredibly underrated, and I would highly recommend that.
And he did The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And
Fire and Ice.
And American Pop. American Pop is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
So is Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice. Fantasy
1966 cartoon.
What's that?
The Spider-Man 1966 cartoon.
Oh, that's right. He did have it.
Yep. So I've got
heavy
something
influence
here.
on Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah. I've got something here which I grabbed because I never heard of, but this voice cast, Paul Giamatti, Tony Hale, Susan Sarandon, and J.K. Simmons, and the thing says Miyazaki meets Pixar.
Yeah.
It's called April in the Extraordinary World, and recommended by both of you, so.
Phenomenal French film.
I've never heard of this movie.
It's incredible. It's like, so it's kind of steampunky. It says, basically the plot deals with a bunch of scientists going missing. I can't remember. Oh gosh, it's been a while. It's like at the very beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and because all these scientists are missing, they continue to they don't progress. Society doesn't progress, and like these newfound inventions like electricity, like they're still using a lot of coal and steam powered stuff, and the world suffers, like the natural world suffers because of it. And
it's a big take. It's a big take on like stunting our knowledge and and us not being able to progress because of it. But it's very just extremely well animated. The story is very well told. It's very captivating. I could say if you like the movie Steam Boy, done by Tomo. Same person who did Akira. Yep. Phenomenal movie, but it just the tones, the characters, the voice actors actually do a phenomenal job translating, and because sometimes a dub just really doesn't do so well, but it really does well in this movie.
I like that they use J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, that's a great cast.
He does really. I love every time I hear him. Yeah.
All right, so this is gonna be my last one that I'm picking, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I also own it, and so I just wanted to hear what he had to say about it. This is Krull.
Oh man!
Yeah.
As a kid, I wanted this glaive so bad. It was the coolest weapon ever created. I love this movie. It's one of the best, stupidest fantasy films in the world. Like, you know, flaming horses and disappearing castles and giant spiders and cyclops and just everything. I mean, it's just so cool.
Slayers, which are way better and more efficient than stormtroopers.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, like I know Star
They don't
Wars is
actually
Star
miss.
Wars.
Yeah.
But they're
can't
called
hit the
Slayers.
crap.
Yeah. Like they're called Slayers for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm like, they kill you. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
right on. Yeah. It's like,
you're dead.
None of that, like we're missing stuff and like you can have a picnic amongst laser beams.
I feel like this movie has caught on and become a cult classic.
Has it?
Krull? I think so. And a lot of
Later on, a lot of
sci-fi
people come back to it and everything like that.
Okay.
But I will tell you, one of the hardest board games ever to play.
The video game was hard. Was just a nightmare as well.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a board game.
All right, funny. What is it? The horror, Christmas horror movies, the old ones. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah.
In the second one, I was watching. I didn't realize there was a board game to this, but I'm watching it. He's working in a toy store, and one shot sitting right behind him in the back is a Krull board game, and I was like, "Get out of here!" Went on Amazon, found it, and bought one. I was like, "I have to have this."
Yeah.
Opened it up, and it was like some serious D&D stuff.
Yeah.
Like every character had a whole thing, and you had to build up with it. It is really. I don't think I've ever gone through it.
What I would ask is, does the Liam Neeson character in the board game have a particular set of skills?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is like one of his first, like, I don't even know what he did.
Probably not much.
Like
Probably
American.
nothing. Yeah.
This is almost 30 years old.
You know, now that he has a certain particular, this is when he was first starting to
More than
acquire
30
those
years old.
skills.
Yeah. But the
this
most
is like-
messed up thing about the board game is it didn't come with the glaive.
Oh!
Why would that not be a piece?
Yeah, then you send that back. Yeah, we're done. Alright, that means I'm done.
I got one more. I love this movie, and again, this is another one that's got both your stickers on it. I adore this movie. I went out and bought this the second it came out.
We introduced this movie to each other, like
Attack the Block.
and we went nuts.
So go ahead.
Love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's-
This was like John Boyega's first role.
Mhm.
Finn
Finn of the new Star Wars movies and a whole lot of other stuff.
plays a pretty badass.
The black guy who's a
Team.
stormtrooper who's not supposed to be a stormtrooper
Stormtrooper.
because he's a black guy.
Nerd rage, man.
No. But this one,
Kills aliens with a samurai sword.
yes,
You know,
and he's in the hood, so he's where he's supposed to be.
Exactly.
probably one of the coolest aliens, I think, too.
Yeah.
Like, love. Like, I wish they made a plushie of it or
It's like-
something. Like,
It's like a giant, like, bear gorilla monster thing, like
with glowing teeth.
with glowing teeth.
glowing teeth.
Because for a while you're like, oh, he has glowing eyes, and then you just get a better. It's like, no, his teeth are glowing.
Those are his teeth.
It's
Oh.
so good. This movie, it's like Huru and I have talked about this. I like movies that can successfully meld genres.
Yeah.
And this is like, it's a British stoner comedy. It's a sci-fi movie. It's a little bit Goonies
Yeah.
because it's a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And it's also just a straight up horror movie.
Yeah.
So like, and it's done so well,
Yeah.
so expertly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got Nick Frost.
Nick Frost,
in
yeah.
a supporting role.
Yep.
Who's fantastic.
His supporting role. He's in it for like,
He's
yeah.
in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Well, this was a movie where once Boyega was Star Wars bound and everybody knew it, we didn't have a store anymore.
Yeah.
So now we're just in the streets with like signs, like
Attack the block!
have you seen it? Have you seen it? Please, sir, have you watched this movie? You know, like we're just on the corner asking for farthings.
Because we were going to be the people, because you just knew that people were going to be like, oh, there's this new guy in the new Star Wars movies and he's awesome. And we're like, He's not new. You haven't seen Attack the Block yet. That guy was awesome 3 years ago.
Yeah. There's a reason why they picked him.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, such a good movie.
Attack the Block. That's the one I'm like, if you slept on that, you've lost cool points.
Yeah.
Crawl will teach you about, and I'm like, all right, fine, you get a pass on that.
Yeah.
But these people right here are telling you Attack the Block. You better freaking pay attention.
And I want to say one more thing about Attack the Block. Attack the Block is another one of those movies that when you're watching it, because I did this when I was watching it, where you can see someone becoming a star. Where you like, it's because all these kids were unknowns.
Yeah.
So any one of them could have been in the new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it, it's like that dude, John Boyega, that kid's going places because he's got that thing.
Yeah.
And then like a year later, it's like, oh, he's going to be in the new Star Wars movie. I found out, like a year or two later. I was like, yeah, he is.
I had that same feeling. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
And
was it Fruitvale Station or?
Chronicle.
Yeah, Chronicle.
And that's when you're like, okay, this kid needs to be doing more.
Yeah.
And like same thing here.
And he of those three guys from Chronicle, he's the one who's like the other kid
They're
gets some
all
work,
2 and 3,
but he's become a star.
Yeah. So this is
we need to wrap this up.
We're going to wrap this up. Cameron's been taking too long. Once again, blabbing his mouth off about movies.
It's what I do.
It's movies, whatever. But we're gonna wrap it up and thank our guests, Matt and Fudgie. I love that. That's fantastic. And Matt and Fudgie here on Matinee Prices, because every now and then we like to elevate our show and not just be two slums sitting on a couch. But hopefully you'll catch us next time. Cameron, you got anything else to add?
No, I just like I was saying last year. I just want to say thank you to you guys because people like you are the reason stores like this can go. It's your dedication, and I know like I've said before, most people that does stuff like this, you're not doing it to get rich. You're doing it because it's an outlet for your weirdness that you have to surround your stuff with this
and passion.
Exactly. And so I'm just I'm glad this place still exists, and you guys are two of the reasons it does.
Yeah,
so
thank you. We have to thank all of our customers
and to the
people who support us. People of Charlotte who support
Definitely.
us. We would not be anywhere without them.
What a great community.
For real, we would be nowhere without them.
So, and if you're watching this in the Charlotte area, come down to Visart and rent a movie.
Yes.
Or buy a shirt.
I bought this shirt today. Little Lebowski's Urban Achiever.
And for those back there up in the Triangle area, if you're missing it, like Cameron and Rollie and myself,
Dude, I'm saying,
make a field trip, road trip down here.
Take a day trip to Charlotte and come to Visart. It's worth it, man.
You can do Discovery Place any old time, fine, whatever. But then come to Visart and be
without traffic, it's a 4-hour round trip.
Yeah.
Suck it up. But there will be traffic.
Yeah.
So
There will be.
All right,
so that's it.
We'll see you next time. Keep watching movies, keep eating cereal, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Night.
Yeah, I'll see you.
It's the Baxter Show.
It's the Baxter Show.